If it's accessible and you can bring your customer to the area of concern, absolutely. Always show and tell more so than tell and show pictures if possible. If it's not, if it's up in an attic, down in a
Yeah.
basement, somewhere where you wouldn't want to drag your 90-year-old customer with you, you'll probably want to take pictures and videos and bring it down to them. But seeing really is believing. And when they can see not only what the problem is, but through our description, what the ramifications are of that problem, they can make better informed decisions. So we've got to educate them along the way. Otherwise, it's like going to the doctor and then saying, well, you're sick. Here's all these drugs that you should take. And you're like, wait a minute, I don't even know what's going on yet. What does this do? What
Right.
will that do? What happens if I don't take that?
Right. 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 Very good. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I always listen to guys that and gals that have great analogies. They try to connect what's wrong with the system with something people can understand, right? You try and make those connections. It's easier. Just to kind of pivot, we've kind of talked about a call where there's a breakdown, but I know a lot of these senior technicians are going on calls where they're tune-ups just with older systems, right? Because there's an opportunity
Mhm.
there. So how do we make our tune-ups so much better than what someone's had in the past, right? So if someone's having you out for a tune-up, probably means they've done it before. They know they know the benefits of having their system maintained. But how do we? Are there any things that a senior tech can do during the tune-up to really make it shine and someone go, "Wow, I've never seen a tune-up like this."
So, especially for those people that are not members of our club that haven't used this consistently, maybe they're just
Yeah.
bought a new house and haven't had anything looked at, or maybe they just discovered the fact that we need to have preventative maintenance done on our system. So, we need to really do some more digging and ask really good questions with those types of customers. How long has it been since anyone's looked at this before? Um,
Right.
how often are you really finding that you're having problems? And from those answers and from what we find in their home is really putting together the full synopsis for them, right? Here's what's going on. Here's, kind of like how we do it with our you could do, you should do, and you must do when it comes to your options. So really saying, hey, we've got band-aids. Everyone can cover up the band-aid and get it fixed for now. But does that address the problem over the long term? And especially if the system has some age, has wear and tear, or a combination of both, we talk about, let's look at what this system is truly costing you to own it now in comparison to what a new system will look like for you.
Right, for sure, for sure. So when you utilize the system performance report. That's another tool we have. I wanted to be sure to mention that. So you're taking a full view of what's wrong with the system. I guess is that point should a technician create 3 options, even though they know this is really a good replacement opportunity, or should that technician kind of mention, "Hey, Mrs. Jones, I know you think this might be a repair. Maybe we need to look at. Have you thought about replace your system?" Kind of how do you handle that transition from service mode to potential replacement mode?
This is where the magic happens, and this is what differentiates a technician from a selling technician from a comfort advisor. And they really have to nail, I hate to call it this, but the song and dance part of this step in the call. Because without a smooth transition, it can feel very salesy. And the reason why selling technicians work so well in the field is because they're not looked at as salespeople. And not to give salespeople a bad name. I was one. I love salespeople. We make the world go round. But it's a different level of trust with a technician than it is with a salesperson. So they need to stay in that tech mode and make the transition very smooth. So this is where we start to introduce those opportunities to make that choice. So I always tell technicians, do not go in guns a-blazing with, hey, let's get it replaced, right? Go through your options. Mentioning replacement is great to do. You can even bring it up before you get into your options. Mrs. Jones, I just wanted to let you know, after looking at this system and realizing that it's 14 years old, we do have some wear and tear items. I'm going to go through all of those with you, but just based on age alone, have you considered replacing it? And if they say, no, I haven't thought about it, or it's been on the radar, we want to wait, whatever the answer is, just take that one and say, fantastic. We can do whatever it is you want to do today, and I'm going to give you options that will give you choices. Let's go through what's happening with the system technically, and then I'll let you see, based on what we've got going on, what works best for you, what the next steps should be. So we don't want to shortchange the customer and not give them their repair options, because that's what we were called out for. And it's when we start leaving those out and go straight for the kill that we get the reputation of being all salespeople in the field.
Absolutely. Is that maybe a time where you use to drop another CertainPath tool, the true cost calculator? Is that when you sit down? Maybe in a high level, share with people what that is. That's something that I don't know. Maybe other organizations have it, but I certainly know we do, and it is a moneymaker for a lot of companies for many years.
Oh yeah, that is the transition tool. So it's a calculating system that's very easy, that helps a customer to understand not only what they're going to have to spend today to get this system up and running, but to look at the system as a whole and what it will cost them, not only to keep it now, but over the next however much longer they want to keep it for. So for example, if a customer says, I've been thinking about replacement, but I really just want to hold off a couple of years, or, we haven't really saved anything for it and I don't want to get stuck having to pay a bunch of money. You know what? I completely understand that. This is that kind of project no one really wants to tackle. But let me show you, based on these few things, what it really costs to keep it. So not only are we looking at today's repairs, we have to look at future repairs. So that's why something like the system's performance report checklist, and ours is with red, yellow, and green. Green, good, right? Red, bad. Yellow, stop and think about it. So this is that stop and think about it kind of section. Like, hey, not only do we have today's repairs, we have this, this, and this that may fail in the future. Plus, we have to talk about the fact that maybe they've done repairs in the past. You've already spent that money. We're not getting that back, especially if it was with another company. And then we have to look at how much does it cost to actually run it. We know utilities go up every year. We've seen some really substantial rate hikes in certain areas. I know here we went from like 9 cents to 16 cents a kilowatt hour. That's almost double the cost for electricity. So how much is it costing to run it? How much will it continue to cost, especially with inflation? Those future repairs we have to consider, and thinking about, we've got price increases coming in our industry, like big time, as early as next year. So do we really want to spend that extra money just to wait, or should we start realizing those savings now, get something in so we're comfortable? So those are the kinds of things we look for through the true cost calculator.
I love it. That's great. That's great. So at that point, most homeowners, it seems, will go, okay, well, let's at least look at what our replacement options are. Well, you've shown me the 3 repair options. Let's at least explore that. So what do you recommend for, a senior technician at that moment? What are the next steps of that now sales opportunity? What should he or she be doing?
Now we transition into the comfort survey. So once they've expressed that interest and they want to look at replacement options, we let the customer know, fantastic. I'm going to ask you a few more questions, because when I came, I was looking at ways to solve your problem by either doing a repair or a maintenance. And now if we're looking at replacement, we're looking at a different ball of wax. So let me make sure I've got all of the information I need to help you make a good decision. So we go through the survey, and then we turn around and we do a heat load calculation. So I know people use different methods to do heat load calcs. We have a great one that actually comes in our survey that makes it super simple, but we've got to perform that heat load calc. Otherwise, how are we going to be able to provide any kind of guarantees if we don't know if it's the right size system?